I am really happy to introduce Paul Lukacs from the University of Montana. He's going to talk about our Testbeds project within the Headwaters Tech Hub and the network of testbeds that we're building to evaluate, assess, demonstrate technologies, and really amplify the work that we're doing and move that tech envelope forward. I also especially want to thank Paul and his team for agreeing to go first and being the guinea pigs for this new format. All of the rough edges will get worked out through Paul volunteering to go first. And so thank you for that as well. I know it's never easy to be volunteered slash voluntold to be the first in line for this sort of thing. And with that, I will hand it over to you, Paul. And we're aiming for, where Paul's going to present. There'll be plenty of time for questions at the end and plenty of time for further discussion at the end. It really is meant to be a back and forth conversation once he goes through his presentation. So we'll turn it over to Paul now.
Great. Thanks, Tim. And being the first, I get to be the best presentation for at least 1 month. Yeah, it's exciting to have a chance to talk about the assist test beds today. Over the past year, things have really come along from it being just an idea to something that's really going ahead. So I'm going to try and share my screen here. And we'll dive in. Yeah, so the assist project is the automated smart systems and integrated sensors test beds. So it's a partnership with us here at Montana State University, Montana Tech, Grand Farm, and of course the broader Headwaters Tech Hub group. So we'll just start off with our little roadmap, where in the case of our test beds, it's largely off-road stuff. And dive into what our test beds do, our capabilities, processes for working with us, and then we'll have lots of chance for questions. To give you some background on where we're headed, our mission of our test beds is really to catalyze innovation, and we do this through derisking technology and trying hard to work with Montana's unique landscapes, our unique industries, or critical industries, and then this sort of optical sensing strengths that are found in the state. So what exactly is a test bed? And I have to say, before I started working on this project, I wasn't entirely familiar with the term, but kind of makes sense. It's this place to test tools and technology in a way that's rigorous, transparent, and repeatable. In Montana, rigorous means you've got to be able to handle our rugged terrain. If we're going to put a piece of technology through a set of really rigorous tests, it's got to be able to survive the terrain of whether it's a forest or a mine or a farm or a ranch. That's really the key to testing something in Montana. It's not a place to test a Formula One race car, but it could be a place to test an off-road vehicle. And then on the transparency side, means we've got some protocols in place. If somebody wants to know how exactly was this product tested, we're going to be able to tell people how the test occurred, and will be descriptions of that in a way that could be repeated if needed. Okay, so why would you want to go ahead and go through all the effort of using our test bed rather than just going and using the empty lot down the street or trying to contact the Forest Service and just use a piece of Forest Service land? There's some key things we bring to the table with the test beds. The first is expertise. We've got groups of faculty and scientists and business support people, our various universities and in the Tech Hub that can really help a company test their product in a really efficient way, and also bring in other fields of expertise. So the tech developer may be really great at making a LiDAR system, but might not know all the details of navigating through a forest, or what kinds of trees or things they're going to interact with. We can bring those other fields of expertise to the table. We bring a lot of support. So we have coordinators at the test beds that can help handle all the details of scheduling and figuring out all the logistics. Um, and same thing, those some of those experts can provide support as well. We've got facilities, so some cases lodging facilities, equipment, vehicles, drones, all sorts of other things that come along with the test beds that the company then doesn't have to necessarily invest in. They might need a drone for a one-off purpose and don't want to pay $100,000 for their own drone when they only need it for a day. We have great networking opportunities. So we have connections with corporations, with government agencies. We run events at our test beds that can help bring companies and um, these various customers for their products together in one place, as well as networking for expertise. And then finally, we bring a whole lot of auxiliary information. So if you need to know what the baseline crop growth rates were in the field you're going to do your testing in, there's background information on that. If you need soil layer maps, all this sort of extra information that might be hard to track down on a random piece of land. The fact that we're working on ones that have been supported for a long time have lots of auxiliary information available. All right. So our 4 test beds that are up and running right now. So we have Lubrecht Experimental Forest here at the University of Montana. There's the Underground Mine Education Center at Montana Tech in Butte. Lutz Farm and Red Bluff Ranch at Montana State University. And then heading a bit further east, Grand Farm in eastern North Dakota. At Lubrecht, we specialize one in the sort of rugged terrain. It's mountainous. There's forest, range, a little bit of water, and it's a place where there's active timber harvesting, prescribed burns that happen twice a year. We have FAA waivers for beyond visual line of sight flying of drones. Uh, we can take drones up to 2,000 feet. So a lot of extra opportunity to use some drone capabilities. There's internet available. There's lodging um, and support from our aerial autonomous aerial systems office and the fire center for some really complex tests of technology there at Lubrecht. At Montana Tech with their underground mine center, they've got 3,000 feet of submerged dry and wet tunnels. They have planned blasting that can, sort of a scary thing to think about, but an important and different piece of, uh, of expertise. There's above ground rocky terrain, um, and yeah, interesting geothermal use through the water in the tunnels. So, and lots of expertise in the mining industry there at Montana Tech. And it's also a place where you can fly drones in confined spaces. So at Lubrecht, you might be able to fly it up to 2,000 feet, and at the mines in Butte, its ability to fly it in these really narrow corridors adds for some interesting testing. And among that, there's also power and Wi-Fi and things down inside the mine that can allow for extra capabilities. Then if we head on our route further east, head to Montana State University with their Lutz Farm and Red Bluff Ranch. So here they got controlled stress crop environments. So if you need some sort of testing over crops that have been stressed in a specific way, they have their own drone sensing capabilities. They have their whole experiment station network, wildlife exclusion fencing, precision irrigation, um, lots of data analytics and support. Um, the farm itself is about 600 acres, and then a much larger Red Bluff Ranch that has cattle and sheep. And then we keep driving east. This is going to be a bit longer distance between the last test bed and eastern North Dakota. We head out just not too far from Fargo. Grand Farm has been operating quite some time. They have more opportunities for precision ag, advanced analytics, their whole network of growers, researchers, and industry leaders, um, and a lot of opportunity to collaborate with leading innovators. Um, and they also have a large shop for demonstration and events. So just as one quick example, what is one of these tests might look like? So this past summer, we worked with a company called Flash Forest for a test of their product at Lubrecht. And so here we're able to allow them to test their multi-rotor drone to drop seed pods for remote forest reforestation. Um, and so they're able to bring their whole crew to sort of see in the background there. They've been able to, there's access at Lubrecht to drive their trailer system in. We can bring shade and bathrooms and food and stuff in as needed, and then give them a chance to test their drone. So there's just one case um, where allowed a nice, easy facilitation of them uh, testing. They didn't actually see anything, but they dropped their little pellets and were able to demonstrate their technology. Another piece we do is hold events that can just showcase different kinds of technologies, not necessarily a specific test, but a showcase. And so this fall, we did an airspace awareness showcase at Lubrecht where we brought together a company that specializes in drone technology so that they were able to one, get their radar system set up so that we could track all the drones that were in the air and show how that works. And then here, the owner is demonstrating the really creepy camera coming off of the picture on the right is a tethered drone that is used for monitoring activity, has an incredible zoom. The one on the left is showing the picture of the live feed of that zoom of an area that's hundreds of yards away, where they're zoomed in watching people actually set up another drone for the test. So it's just a neat way to kind of visualize how all this technology is working together and a chance for networking with professionals and innovators in different spaces. All right. So what's it like to work with us? We try and keep this kind of simple and on a personal level. We want to just start with conversations. So we take a lot of time reaching out to various companies, innovators, to start conversations on how they might be able to work in a test bed. People are welcome to contact us directly and start that conversation. So we start with general contact. Might call up John Beltran, works for our testbed development lead, and just chat about sort of what are the general interests, what's going on in your company, and from there, if it sounds like there might be some kind of matching, we have an intake form, which is sort of 10 simple questions for a company to fill out and say, hey, this is kind of what we want to do. This is our goal, and some of what we might need to do it. We can review that, connect the company with the appropriate test bed, and start into the project design phase. And so there we'll work with the company to determine, do we need an expert in a specific field? What kinds of technology might they need in the field? What kind of support systems might they need? And sort of line out exactly what does that project look like on the ground. Once we got a general framework for what the project is, it's meeting people's goals. There's a potential in some limited case for some cost offsets. So if there's a company that meets our sort of mission aligned goals of supporting growth of Montana technology sectors, there are some cost offsets that can potentially help pay for some pieces of the cost of working on the test beds. So there's an application process for that. And then from there, we would move into contracting. So really dial in exactly what are all the details that are needed in the test, what what's needed from the test bed, what cost structures would look like, um, timing, any sort of compliance things that might go on. So the compliance end is a big reason to work with us instead of just trying to go to the Forest Service, where there would be a whole bunch of compliance things that you have to wrestle with yourself. We're able to help move those compliance pieces through more easily. Get the contract signed, go ahead, do the project at the scheduled time and place, and then once it's done, provide the results back to the company, which they may be on site watching the results come in themselves, or it might be something where they sent us a piece of technology and we tested it for them and send the results back. Um, but all this is done with regular conversation, regular input back and forth to make sure everybody understands what's going on, regular coordination with potentially a large number of partners. If it happens to be something as elaborate as working on a prescribed fire, there'll be a lot of different people involved. And so we'll help get all that together in hopefully a fairly seamless way. Yeah, and so best way if you're interested in starting one of these conversations, John Beltran's or Testbeds development lead, his email's there on the slide. He loves having these conversations. He'll get the conversation rolling, get you connected with all the people that you need to be connected with, exactly which test bed is most appropriate, and maybe some technologies would be good to test it more than one test bed. Um, and we'll get going. I guess the hell. Open it up for some questions.
Thanks, Paul. Really appreciate that. And yeah, if folks want to, I think given the numbers, maybe if folks want to raise their hands and ask questions, we can call them out as they come in. I do want to just the team that has come together for the test beds is a fabulous team, top to bottom. Paul called out John, Zaya's there. Kyle's been involved from the beginning. I see. I thought I saw Robin on the call. I see Tori, who has just joined the team in the last couple weeks. And that's honestly that's driven by demand. We're seeing a lot of demand, a lot of enthusiasm and excitement for projects in this. The pipeline is at a really healthy place and growing day by day. And now I'll stop talking. I will call on Mary because she has her hand up first, and then had someone walk in her office and distract her. All right, we'll pass Mary. Who else has a question? Paul, can you talk a little bit on time through the process and what that pipeline looks like and how that has worked so far?
Yeah, so time through the process can be a little bit variable. So the the actual the we want to make sure that we really line out what a company needs, and so that we're not setting them on a mission that's going to fail. So we want to make sure that the right we can open a window where there's the appropriate weather conditions, um, and other factors that might come into play. The actual contracting is probably at least a couple of week to a month process. But then it's really about scheduling time and matching the right schedule of the facility to the test that needs to be done. And so if you contact us in January and you're looking for a fall burn time, it's going to be 9 months before fall comes around, but it could be quicker than that too.
And then what if folks want to see the sites for themselves? What if they want to go check it out and sometimes seeing is understanding. What are the opportunities there?
Yeah, so if you want to check them out, just get a hold of us and we can schedule tours at any of them. We have coordinators at each of the sites that can take you around and show you what we have. We could also show you maps online if you want to just start with a quick online conversation before you drive from here to North Dakota. Um, we could start with photos and videos and stuff online as well.
Paul, a lot of us on this call are connectors, and we help share Montana stories as we're out of state or in state. What's like a quick pitch on the test beds that make Montana unique? Like, what are things that we can tell businesses outside of Montana to get them here, spending money in our communities and using the test beds? What are some of those big things that set us apart from other communities?
Yeah, I think the big thing we have is this ability to test new technologies in extreme conditions that they can't necessarily mimic elsewhere with the facilities surrounding them to not make the experience extreme, but just test the technology in extreme ways. So whether that's complex terrain, cold, heat, um, yeah, and then this whole team of experts and facilities surrounding.
Can you share a really interesting success story with us of a company that came and tested? Again, we're looking for stories that we can share. Uh, what's something incredible that you saw happen in one of the test beds?
Yeah, so that airspace awareness thing was super fun to watch and see multiple drones in the air, watch them on a screen getting tracked like you were in an air traffic control tower, but they were just at a Lubeck forest. And then watching the camera zoom in, one drone watching another drone on a camera. It was really, really slick to see. Um,
Thanks. Those were great examples.
Paul, where do you think, or where would you say most of the inquiries are coming from? Are they coming from in-state? Are they coming from out of state, global? Do you have kind of a breakdown on those different statistics?
John, do you want to take that one since you're getting the inquiries directly?
Sure, good question. So we've got a good mix of both, and I would say that the contacts that I make that go the farthest are mostly Montana companies. Um, Really, that's who we're primarily targeting is those innovators in the state to support. But there's also interest from folks from out of state and out of the country that we've worked with and that are interested in coming to Montana because of the reasons that Paul said, because of these test beds, because of our rugged terrain, because of our expertise in optical sensing and all the domain expertise in forestry, mining, and agriculture.
Yeah, I would also think that the space and lack of traffic that we have in Montana helps with patience and accessibility.
Yep.
Mary, glad you were able to rejoin. Go ahead.
Yeah, I apologize about that. Director Bertolio walked in my office and had an immediate question. So when you work for the boss, you work for the boss. So I had put something in the chat, John. I don't know if you saw it about, is there a way that we could maybe come up with a quick form that as we have, because we're vetting industry folks all the time. And I run into all kinds of people that I know, like let's take defense industry. Defense industry has a boatload of projects that would be perfect, especially particularly for the underground mine, but also Lubric Forest. Not so sure about ag, but who knows? Is there some kind of way that we could build a quick something as we vet these clients so that we could get the information, some of it ahead of time, then they're not repeating everything for you guys? I actually have a project right in hand right now that I want to figure out how to make that happen. So,
yeah, Mary. So a great place to start is we've developed some one-page summaries of each of our test bed sites that showcases our capabilities, and I think that's been a great resource and usually how I try to introduce folks
yeah,
to the test beds, and then am happy to connect with folks for a conversation at if they
I was
express
actually
interest.
thinking on the flip side. So it would be us gathering information from the industry so we could just pass it on to you because we have all that conversation with them. Like say business attraction. So business attraction meets with them, has all their needs, et cetera, da 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 da. It seems to me that we could help capture that. Tony's on the call, right? We could help capture some of that, and then as we pass that on to you guys, then that would help them not have to repeat everything again to you guys. It would make us look like, oh, we're a big team and we actually work together. So just a thought. It may
Mary,
be a stupid thought, but it's a thought.
do you mean like a standardized form with a few fields that you drop into and that turns into an email that lands in John's inbox or something like that?
Spot. Yep. So we do a little bit of upfront research vetting of the company before we pass it on to John, but because we're already meeting with them. So Frederick has a business attraction meeting. They start talking about that they want to have a place where they can do stuff underground, right? So we've already captured the name of the company. We've already captured who the contact is. We've already captured a little bit about what their interest is. Then we say, okay, this is fabulous. We are now going to help you connect with John Beltrone. And here you go. It's kind of like, like when you come in, it's the concierge service of helping somebody get placed in the right place right away, and also helping the person with whom you are placing them have a be able to be better prepared when you bring them on. It's just a thought. I just I know having been in private industry, I know they absolutely hate repeating all the same stuff twice. And particularly when they think it's something government related or whatever related.
Yeah, I see the value in that. Let's follow up offline and figure out how to make it a good product that's useful. And but I think the flip side, one that won't generate a bunch of not live leads to chase down. Scott.
I wonder how we're using the network that's out there. We may already be doing this. What I'm thinking about is because we do it at the university, but I'm not sure that we're doing it as this group. So, for example, when faculty in ag at MSU go to their conference, do they take something with them about the test bed? When our faculty in forestry here go to their conferences, they quite often take things to recruit students to the university, but they could also take things with them about the test bed. Are we doing anything like that yet, or?
Not specifically. I mean, John and I have been going to conferences, but yeah, we certainly have information we can be sending out, and that's a good idea.
I can speak to a similar situation. So Robin and I were able to attend the Mine Exchange conference down in Salt Lake City. Did some coordination beforehand, handed out some of our one-pagers to Robin and her team. So we had folks from Montana Tech who were at the conference, myself there, and speaking about the test beds, speaking about Montana Tech, and it was an engaging way to kind of go and meet people in Salt Lake City in the mining industry.
Yeah, and just a plus one that I know we just dropped links for a couple of the one pagers that we've been talking about into the chat. I carry a set of them around with me wherever, and I know that I've dropped them at Department of Commerce. I've dropped them at the new DIU on-ramp hub, and both paper copies and digital copies, so that folks who want to follow up, they have the paper in hand, but they also have the contact info there to follow up directly. And when our website is live, which really is soon, I promise, when our website is live, that they'll all be up there and downloadable from there as well.
We have in Butte, we are hosting the World Trade and Investment Day up at Montana Tech, and we are taking those attendees through the underground mine, through EMAC. And so I'm sure if we would have stuff that we could hand out or put in their packets about that, because they're going to have more questions when they're done, with the tours and stuff. They have something to take with them for them to take back to their organizations as well. That would be handy.
Yeah, I'll be there that day as well, so I will certainly bring you some one.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That would be great.
Speaking of tours and demo days, Zaya, Tori, John, somebody, do you want to talk about the demo day that we have that we're planning adjacent to the Tech Hub Summit in September?
I can speak to it, or John, do you want to?
Go ahead, Zay.
Okay. So on September 9th, we're going to have a demo day, the day that the Tech Hub Summit is going to begin. I guess in the evening, there's going to be a reception here in Missoula, but we're going to, for those who can come early, take a group of people up to Lubric to have a demo day and see some customers and companies kind of doing their live action. Hopefully we can have that airspace awareness stuff up and running. Fingers crossed. We're in purchase mode right now for a lot of new equipment, and I'm hoping it's all available and here and ready to show off alongside some of the companies at that point. We haven't determined who all the companies are, but it should be a fun day. And it's always nice to get out into the forest and hang out in Lubric. It's a gorgeous spot and it's not that far from Missoula. So hopefully many of you will join us.
And I'm going to give a shout out to Kyle and the guys and the folks at Grand Farm. They are definitely leaders and folks that we lean on and learn from when it comes to demo and field days, especially. Every time I'm out there, they have great things on show and draw a fantastic crowd that both help educate on the tech, but also bring good attention to the region and the ecosystem and what we're building together.
Well said. Thanks, Tim. I don't think I have anything major to add. We'll have events throughout the summer as we get further into the year. I'll have dates and everything for those, but happy to have everybody out and excited to come out to Montana a few times and come to the demos and stuff and see the trials that you guys are working on out there.
Other questions for Paul or the Testbeds team?
I'd love to hear a little bit from Kyle about Ag Tech Week and what's going on in your neck of the woods.
What's going on in my neck of the woods? Everything right now. Ag Tech Week, I don't even have my calendar pulled up. Give me 1 minute. Ag Tech Week is, I think, the second week in June. June 8th through the 12th with Cultivate, our biggest conference, on the 11th here in Fargo. Andrew, for those of you who have been out here and met some of the team members, Andrew does all the conference stuff, and I stay as far out of it as I can until about the week before. I don't know who keynotes or any of that stuff is. I think that we've been sharing some of that stuff on LinkedIn that I've seen. So that information should be available. If you go to grandfarm.com, a lot of that information will be available there as well. I'm very much the operational side of this thing, not the conference speaker public engagement side of this thing for the most part. So, yeah, and then we'll have Elevate, a conference on AI and ag in July, and a autonomous agriculture conference in September around autonomy and agriculture. All from what I've heard are shaping up to be, the best yet. And we say that every single year, but somehow the team manages to make that true every single year too. So, we got a grant through the state of North Dakota to continue to expand infrastructure at the campus. And so we're working on spending that out. So we're going to be building a new building, installing some more drain tile, buying some equipment, variety of different things. We're going to utilize about 90% of the available acreage for trials this year. So we'll have a 37 total trials on the farm, I think, this year. So yeah, just lots of very exciting. So just fun stuff. More than I can keep up with most of the time.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks.
Well, thanks again to Paul and the team. I do want to flag two things, two housekeeping notes beforehand. First, we're going to do another one of these in about a month. You will see messages broadcast out for that to make sure that you're able to register and get it on your calendars. It is going to be Salish Kootenai College presenting on their Tech Hub project, which is focused on building pathways into STEM careers for rural and Indigenous young folks. Courtney is going to drop the registration link for that next event into the chat if you want to get that out of the way now. But maybe more importantly, the second link that she's about to drop, which is an Asana link, is to a form for future topics. So this is going to be more successful if we find topics that are exciting to you all, the audience. And so we would love ideas for suggested speakers or suggested topics or volunteers if you would like to lead one of these webinars yourself. All of that is on the table. And so just click on the form and you'll be able to find that form other paths as well. Click on the form and we will happily take your suggestions and build out a calendar for the coming months. Yeah, I think we'll leave it there. It's been a good conversation today. I really appreciate that. I always appreciate that. And it's all because this community is so strong and there's so much interest. So excited for where this is going to go.